Hello, this is Inside the Press Box with Sunil Sunder Raj for the Everyday Fan Sports. I'm happy to be speaking with Vito Campanile, the head coach of the Bergen Catholic Crusaders varsity football team. Coach Campanile, thank you so much for taking some time out to speak with me today. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us, Sunil. Appreciate you having us on.
Hey, as I, before we came on there, 2 weeks, until it said the 2021 regular season opener at Archbishop Hope, High School in Akron, Ohio. Prime time, 7 p.m. on Flow Sports, Friday Night Lights. It doesn't get any better than that, Coach. Can you just talk about it? It said here, I know you're very busy, preparing for the game.
Yeah, you got me at a good time. I'm just getting done having a panic attack over watching their defensive line.
Okay.
Yeah, but they have a heck of a football program out there. Coach Terrell's done an amazing job. I mean, they're definitely the team to beat in Eastern Ohio, and they play a physical, tough brand of football. Mm-hmm. They really, I was just saying, a couple of my assistants, they remind me a great deal of St. Joe's Regional, the way that they just, they'll smash you, they'll run to the ball really hard. They a lot of similarities to some of the guys that we play in this league. So I think that they're going to be, we got a tiger by the tail. There's no question about it.
Yeah, I mean, I was just looking at their record, I think, since 2016. I was trying to tally up the stats, Coach. I think they're 65-4-1. I mean, a juggernaut, not only on the offensive side of the ball, but defense. And, said last year they actually went undefeated. And they back in 2018, I think they were 15-0. So it's a tough matchup. Can you just talk about, what it's going to take, said to come out on top there in 2 weeks there?
Right. A lot of it, to be honest, is just, football is football, right? Yeah. We're going to have to play our brand of football. They're certainly going to play their brand of football. We have a lot of confidence in our guys. They have a lot of confidence in their guys. I mean, from the minute this started, I don't think there was anybody backing down from the challenge. We take a great deal of pride in New Jersey football, and they take a great deal of pride in Ohio football. So, like we say, we want best against best, and that's why we're going out there, and that's why they're coming back here next year. This is a home-and-home series, and we feel two of the better teams that you're going to find in the Northeast and the Midwest. So that's what it's all about. Yeah,
it said you talked about challenges, Coach Campanile. You said it played out-of-state teams before a couple of years ago in Georgia. Just to increase that profile, instead of New Jersey football, and of course, for Bergen Catholic, high school and football as well. Can you talk about that? How good that is, to be able to, play out-of-state teams here?
Sure. I think our within our administration and within our staff, we kind of feel like we always want to have one national game a year, and then we want to have one regional game a year. We think that that's feasible for us to make it work financially. There's a lot of money that goes into these travel games. It's tough, and we have some great families and some great support to be able to do it, and great fundraising endeavors that make it work. Mm-hmm. But, we really feel like once a year we want to have that the kids take on that challenge. That's a big part of why they come here. And then secondly, we know we're going to run into a gauntlet when we get into the Big North League. Yeah. So, but it's a big part of the puzzle. And I think that it's great to play it right out of the gate, because they know there's something to really look forward to in the dog days of camp. And there's something to really focus in on and hone in on getting better. And that's really where we are at this point, 8 practices in. We're trying to get better to play at a national level game.
Yeah. It's more than a football game, said traveling out there to Akron, Ohio, said for the players, for the coaches. Can you talk about that? It's more, you're traveling to another state, seeing, how life is out there. Coach, can you talk about that as well?
Yeah, I think it's really educational for a high school kid to get the idea of what it's like in different parts of the country, right? I think that, we always say that it is really an education is a forever learning process, right? And really that's great. It's a great opportunity that our kids get, that I would say, few and far between that high school students get this opportunity. So we're going to make the most of it every time we travel. We want to represent Bergen Catholic in the best way possible as young men. And I think that our guys do a great job of that. And then when we take the field, we want to play as hard as we possibly can and get after these guys as best as we can. So, but it's a lot of fun. And, for us, this is so much more than just a football team. These relationships go way beyond the football field for me, for for my players, for my assistant coaches. We're trying to make this an extended family environment every minute. Yeah. And, you know, we spend an insane amount of time together, over 1,000 hours a year within your collective family. So it's really something that it's the pinnacle of what we want in high school football. This is really what we want to make it about. And we want to be able to build these relationships on every level, not just on the football field. And this is a great way to do it.
I have to ask you how, you know, summer camp is going. You know, when we spoke 3 years ago, of course, I wrote for a different site and I interviewed you. You talked about the grind, you know, the preparation, you know, said all the hard work that goes. I mean, it's 24/7, 365, coach. So the fact that, you know, what you're doing here earlier in the year, but especially in summer to prepare yourself for, I said, the rigors of a regular season, you know, said that grind. Can you talk about that? You know, just how it's,
yeah, I'm a little ruffled about that, to be honest with you. You know, I think that our state, it's become really hard to prepare because there's such a shortage of hours now, or days that you can really prepare for a game. I mean, like, typically for me, I feel like the preseason should be at least 4 weeks. And I think that gives you enough time. But now they've really taken the equipment out of summer and you have to do this acclimatization. Mm-hmm. And I just don't know that it's the best policies. I mean, I feel like the NJSAA is there to protect the kids. But if I'm being honest, I think who cares about the kids more than their coaches, right? So I would never like run our team into the ground or put the guys in a situation where they're not healthy enough to play. But, you know, we really go like 6 days with no pads on, and then they expect you to go have a scrimmage. I don't really know how that's conducive to making a high school athlete play at the elite level. So I would like to see some of that change. You know, this year we're really from August 9th to September 27th or 26th is 17 days before you play a game. Yeah. I really think we should go back to more of the 4-week deal. But is to answer, I know I'm long-winded, but to answer your question, I think we've strung together 8 great practices so far. Yeah. We haven't given a day back. We've gotten better every time we've been on the field. It's been extremely hot, so we've practiced real early in the morning the past couple days. Mm-hmm. But I think that the fact that we have 18 returning starters makes that a lot easier on our staff. And they understand almost like a professional approach to practice and what they need to do. And that's great to have that type of leadership.
It's not an easy schedule, coach. I was looking, after Archbishop Homan, you come back and play, Smyrna of Delaware, right. You know, sit at home. I mean, it's, you know, then Del Barton and then at Don Bosco, and then you go on to Pope John and then at Prams Catholic, St. Joe's, Montvale, you know, and then you finish up at Seton Hall Prep on the road, the last 2 at Seton Hall Prep and St. Peter's Prep. Can you just talk about, this, it said scheduled this season here.
Right. I mean, you know, right now we're kind of in like an extended game week. So we're trying not to think too far down the road. I'm sure by the time we get into the Big North schedule, you know this from being around this league for a long time. Yeah. I almost feel like it's impossible to look ahead and be successful.
You emphasize that.
Right. So you really need to take it on a daily and weekly basis and really grind out every day to put your team in the best position to win. And it's been, you know, over a decade since somebody's gone undefeated in this league. And that's not an accident, right? There's just a lot of great talent, a lot of great coaching, and a lot of great competition week in and week out. So we just want to continue to stack days together and be prepared to be an elite football team throughout the entire fall.
So let's talk about the 2021, Bergen Catholic Crusaders, varsity football team. As you said, an experienced, squad here with 18 returning starters. You want to just talk about on the offensive side of the ball, of course, with, quarterback, Steve Angeli, running back Ryan Butler. I mean, those are the two, main offensive weapons for you, seniors now. I mean, can you talk about, they've had tremendous production over the last, couple of years here, Coach. Can you just talk about that?
Yeah, they're veteran players,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
Yeah.
so, I think that Ryan played since as a freshman, moved up to varsity, and Stevie, same thing. Halfway through freshman year, we brought him up to the varsity. So they've been around it a long time. I think it's really good that they can infuse the culture of the expectation into everybody within the program. I feel like we've done a really good job at the running back position. We have some really good ones in our program. And I think that, guys that do things the right way. And when I say that, like practice hard and practice every day, it's infectious, right? Like guys they understand like, okay, I'm not supposed to take a handoff in running back frames and jog 5 yards. I'm supposed to run a 40-yard dash like Ryan Butler does. So, and then when the freshmen come around and practice with the varsity, like we do a couple times a week, they understand like this is the expectation. It's not like, oh, he's a good player, so he's not going to get coached. No, it's going to be the exact opposite. You're going to get coached even harder. And, that's my job, right? That's my assistant coach's job, to make these guys the best version of them, whatever that is. If it's going to Notre Dame or Princeton, or it's just being the best high school football player you can be, we're going to make sure that kid is going to gravitate to being the best version of him. And that's really what we try and influence and practice every single day.
Yeah. Both on the offensive and defensive line, you have, said experience there as well. Can you talk about, and even with the wide receiving core as well, again, it's, it's stacked there as far as the talent. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, we got TKO'd yesterday morning. Our defensive line won that one egregiously bad. So but our offensive line's done a great job. But we did do some stuff yesterday. I mean, DJ is playing at a different level. Sideer is kind of taking his game to, his conditioning and just his length is. Those guys are special. And then Christian Ross, Dominic Brogna are, elite players. Those guys are really playing hard. And then, we have LaRue Linder, who's a mixing guy, Quentin Lane. So we have great depth at that defensive line. And then we have some sophomores, Elijah Kinsler, Anthony Morales, they're doing some really good things. I think we have great depth at that position. Yeah. And, to be honest, that's something that I always want to have as a focal point of our team. And we've done a good job there. Darnell Carter, Coach Greg Toll, those guys do a great job with those guys.
Yeah. I didn't want to forget about, of course, the coaching staff, the assistant coaches, because they play an essential role, a critical role in the success of a football team as well. Coach, can you talk about that?
Yeah, Tony DeBellis has been here 32 years now. He's running the defense, and it's he's. I think it's a great unit from the front four all the way to the back four, who are we probably have 7 or 8 college football players in our secondary right now too, that over the years that are going to be really good players. So we feel really good about our team on the defensive side of the ball, and their effort's been really good. So we just got to fly around and make some plays. We definitely are going to play some elite players throughout the season. And this first game, hoping they return all 5 of their offensive linemen. And they're bigger than a lot of college football teams. 360, 320, 290. They are some big guys that we're going to play out there. So we know we got to be up for the challenge, and we're practicing hard every day to get there.
Yeah. I had to ask you, even go back to last year, you guys averaged almost 30 points a game, only allowed, 12 per game, which was outstanding. From where you started, said 3 years ago, 2018, now entering your 4th season, as the head coach of Bergen Catholic, football. Just talk about that first season, just how everything is evolved here, I said over the years, for you, Coach, on the field, on the gridiron.
Yeah, I think the transition coming in, obviously, because my brother was here before. And like I've said to everybody, I think most everybody knows, he's my best friend in the world. We're pretty close. Not too many days we go where we don't talk. And X's and O's wise, probably the person I talk to the most. Obviously, everybody puts their own wrinkle on everything you do from season to season. But I thought that made the transition about as seamless as it could be. But then always, you have to coach the talent that you have, and you're going to do some things different as opposed to what the players mandate and what they're good at and what they're not good at. I think that I'm not giving away any major secrets. I've always built my teams on being a defense first team that can really run the ball well, but I think we have an elite quarterback right now that can do a lot of great things. And, I really feel like we have a well-balanced attack in all three phases of the game. We're going to be a competitive football team all the time, no doubt.
Yeah, no, definitely. I didn't, I was thinking about touching, this subject, with COVID, like, how last year, with the number of games that, you were able to play and like,
Yeah.
week to week, just those, again, those challenges, just, the ups and downs, how that, for you, affected, with coaching wise and then, even with family, can you just talk about that,
Yeah,
Coach?
sure. I can't tell you how grateful I am to the seniors that were on this team last
Yeah.
year and what they mean to me personally and the way they handled last year, not just the seniors, every kid within the program.
Yeah.
I can't tell you the sacrifices that they made and what they did just to have a football season last year. As long as I do this, as long as I live, I'll never forget that group of kids. I don't know if you could put into words like what they mean to me, and I think it was just such a special time and just such a selfless group of people, right? From the parents to the players to the people that work in our school and all the sacrifices that were made. I really, it was hard, no doubt. But no matter what cards they were dealt, no matter what happened, they showed up and they did everything you asked them to do. I mean, talk about all-in guys that were bought into what we were doing as a program. So listen, it was hard. I think it was hard on everybody, but I think to transition into life, things are hard, right?
Yeah.
And these kids, I hopefully they take that life lesson and they bring it to everything else they do.
Yeah, no, definitely. I just have a couple more for you. Can't thank you enough for the time, Coach Campanile. I said I jotted a couple of notes down. Like, I said I talked about the preparation, the grind, but talk about the tradition of Bergen Catholic. I know you talked about the Brotherhood. I said and that's so important. I said I just wanted to ask you about that again, how much that means to you, especially at Bergen Catholic.
Yeah, I mean, in the building, it's almost something that's tangible, right? I mean, and then if you look at the people, almost 13,000 alums that have come through here, you really represent an incredible brotherhood and the electric energy that's in this school on a daily basis. Sports crazy, right? And people that really care for each other in every aspect of their life and what they do. And it's a special place to be. And, like we like to say, it's the best game day environment that you're going to find in high school football. We feel strongly about that. And just people that really care about each other, love having a good time and love being a part of something that's bigger than any one individual, right? And this place has been going that way for a long time and will continue to go that way.
Yeah, I don't want to forget, of course, President Dr. Brian Mahoney, say athletic director Brendan McGovern. I mean, just who do a fabulous job here. Said, can you just talk about the support from both of those guys?
Yeah, I mean, I can go right down the line. I mean, Dr. Mahoney was a college athlete. Our principal, Tim McElhenney, was a college football player, and obviously Brendan was a standout player here. So, you have a level of support from everybody that's your boss that's probably different. I can't. It's a great place to work for all three of those guys, and their support is witnessable every day. Right. Yeah. So I think we're doing a really good job placing guys in college and, have 52 kids playing college football this year and the most kids playing Ivy League football at any high school in America. We have 8 kids that'll line up for Ivy League teams this fall. And we're really proud of that. And I think guys are doing a really good job in the classroom and on the field as well.
First class, facilities, Jack McGovern Field. I mean, what is, just game day there, said the walk down, said, pregame. Can you just talk about that? I mean, just the absolutely, fabulous.
Really looking forward.
Yeah.
Really looking forward to having that home game day environment again. That was something that was really missed last year. Yeah. Not having that packed student section, not having the crazies there. We're not having all of them there on a weekly basis, but. I know the guys are chomping at the bit to see that happen. I know the students are as well. So really looking forward to that. Just having a semblance of what Bergen Catholic is on a football game day. Yep.
Oh boy. Okay, give me a second, coach.
No problem.
Okay, there we go. Something
Yep.
happened. Can you hear me now? Sorry
Oh
about
yeah, I
that.
got you. No
Okay, go
problem.
ahead. Sorry. Technical issues, of course, with Zoom. Go ahead, coach.
No, well, I was saying just as far as like, we're really excited to have the Crazies back and
Yeah.
have that regular environment that we had on game day pre-COVID, and
Yeah.
have everybody back in the stands and a full packed house here. A
Yeah.
big part of what we do, no question.
Yeah, I tell you, the Crusader Crazy, my parents, I had to share this. I live in Oradell, my parents as well. And, I live right by Doug Parcells Field. So when they gather, of course, at
Right.
Oradell Swim Club and then make the walk over onto the pathway, onto Commander Black, and then I think it is, and onto
Sure.
Oradell Avenue. That's one of the greatest, the buzz, the electricity, from
Yeah.
those kids.
Hard to sleep late in the neighborhood on Saturday.
You talked about, these kids are students as well, bouncing out, being a student athlete is not easy. And again, the demands, said from, said teachers at Bergen Catholic, can you talk about, these kids are able to live up to the billing, as you said, are they go on to, attend prestigious, colleges and universities, Coach Campanile.
Yeah, I think it's really the whole village, right? From
Yeah.
the teachers to the administrators to the people that work with them, the support of their families, and really it is an all day, everyday process, and it's not easy. It really isn't easy, and a lot of times I worry about like the pressure of it and too much but they really, what I find with our guys is, when they do it together and they're all being pushed in the same direction and they all care about one another, it really is not peer pressure. It's just everybody rises with the tide and they really become the best version of themselves, and they don't want to disappoint each other. And I think that's something that's pretty special, right? And they really find out what the word team means, and they find out how to work together, and together they can attain more. And we've done a great job of that. Not just on the field, I think as people as well. I think they're really developing into good people, and hopefully that this is something they'll take with them beyond college.
Yeah. I had to ask you, I never did this before, what a daily schedule entails for you, Coach, from morning
For me? Well, my wife will tell you, don't put my socks away but yeah, I usually start at like 5:30. So, I got, depends. Like in the off season, we lift at 6 a.m. We have a split lift. So, we'll lift in the morning before school, and we have about 25 to 30 kids that do that. And then the rest of the team that lives further away usually lift at 3:00. So the off season, it's usually, I'm here from 6 to about 6 or 7. And then in season, I try and get an hour of football done before school. So, I'll get here at about 6:30, do an hour of football, get in some history during the school day. And then I also do college counseling for athletes. And then we get off the field about 6. It depends. Earlier in the week, you're here till late, 9, 10 at night. As the week winds down, I try and get home at a normal hour. So, I used to get to my son's Pop Warner practices, but he's here now, so I don't have to do that anymore. So.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's great.
So it's a little easier.
I had to ask you, a big thing is that you guys have been running summer camps, I think, at Bergen Catholic as well. That's huge, except for the younger kids as well. I had to ask you how important that is as well, Coach Campanile.
Yeah, for our, I don't know how people look, but for us, it's really the foundation of our program. I think it's now like, I want to say this year it's like 63 of our 91 players came to this camp as middle school players. Okay. So it's really, for me, it's more about the families and the players seeing if Bergen Catholic is something that interests them, and getting around us and being able to be coached by our coaches and develop relationships with the school and see if it's something that interests them as a family, right? So it's really become the foundation of what we do here. I don't think nuns would feel much different. And then, if you entrust your kids to somebody and you think it's a really good situation for them, hopefully they see the benefit of Bergen Catholic. So the youth program is a huge part of what we do, no doubt.
You've been around North Jersey football for so many years. We go back, when you were at Westwood and, of course, at Seton Hall Prep, looking at Rutherford, Bergen Tech. We look back at, and then, of course, Paramus Catholic. You played there as well. I mean, when you look it back, I mean, at this journey, just what comes to your mind? I had to ask you about that, Coach.
I used to love when I had the hair gel back. It's been, it's been a big part of my life ever since I was 5 years old. Right. I mean, my father was a football coach and spent my entire life around the team aspect of football. And I think, people ask me that question. I would say the relationship side of it's definitely been number one, right? The guys I played with, or now the guys I coach with or coach myself, like going to like Nolan Borgerson's wedding this summer, I would say like, that's like, those things like that, I think are the best part about what I get to do. So the relationship side of, I mean, listen, I love the competition. I love competing, but it's really been a big part of every relationship I have. With a lot of the guys I coached and played with, no doubt.
You talked about family. I had to ask you, your brother Nick taking over at DePaul Catholic. I mean, football, as you said, runs deep in the Campanile family. I mean, Nunzio, Coach Nunzio Campanile at Rutgers. And, I probably want to ask you as well, that pipeline, you talked about to Rutgers, within state and then even out of state, you see how many players now going to Notre Dame, but even other schools are committing to Notre Dame. Right. Can you just talk about that? But first and foremost, family.
I mean, so Nick, obviously I coached with Nick at the heyday at Westwood. I mean, he was my offense coordinator there. So I think he's well overdue to be a head coach. Probably could have been a head coach a couple times over, but loved working with Mac and being at DePaul. So I think they're in a pretty good position to be good for a long time. He's a really great football mind and a really, a driven guy. So I'm excited for him. And then, I do think the pipeline is great. I think the New Jersey feel to the Rutgers staff is huge. It really is. I think that those guys, Nuns, Augie, Sean, Fran down in South Jersey, they really have, and obviously, Coach Shiano being so embedded in the New Jersey culture, they are doing an amazing job. It's just, again, it's a lot like our league, right? They're playing in the most competitive group in the northern side of the country. So it's going to be a gauntlet every week, but they're doing an awesome job and they're working tirelessly at it. So, really, really excited for those guys. No doubt.
I mean, I'm just wondering it's one of the tough, as you said, one of the toughest conferences. I mean, non-public group 4. I mean, you talk about, Don Bosco, St. Joe's, Paramus Catholic.
Right.
It's just, as you said, there's never, a week off. But, I had to ask, where New Jersey football, it's been great. I said a couple of years ago, I got to cover the state championship games, regionals at SHI Stadium, at Rutgers University. But I had to ask you, with compared to other states, Florida, Texas, California, to see how New Jersey has really risen up, said that ladder, over the years. Can you just talk about that, Coach?
Yeah, I don't know enough about the other states. I think there's a great league down in the DC, Baltimore area. I think there's an awesome league in the Houston area. Obviously the LA league is incredible. But I think that we're right there. And I think that when you go around the top 300 teams in the country, I don't think there's a whole lot of difference to any of them. Right. So, you could win or you could lose. You look at our 8 teams in our league, anybody could beat anybody any day. Right. So I think it's just for us, we want to compete at the highest level, but we also want to understand that we got to do things right every day of the week and every week of the year to be as successful as we can be. And, we definitely have high aspirations this year, and we're going to continue to compete every day that we're out here for sure. But as far as the league here, I'd put it up against anybody, top to bottom. I think we're doing an awesome job. I think we got great coaches, and same goes for the Publics. I don't think there's a whole lot. We're definitely, in my opinion, a top 5 football state in the country.
Yeah. Hey, it's been great. You've been able to experience both sides, public and non-public. Sure. It doesn't get any better than that, Coach Campanile.
Right. Yeah, no doubt.
Final question. I think you're in a great spot to do this. Is offer advice younger players, coaches, or people who want to break into the coaching ranks. As well. What your what your advice, what your message is for those people, Coach Campanile.
Oh yeah, it's easy. I mean, best advice I ever got as well as a young head coach when I took the Bergen Tech job many years ago. My father gave me the best advice I ever will have, and I give it to every young coach. I like you always said to me, like, never hire the smartest guy, hire the best people, right? So, and I think that goes for anything. Like, if you make sure you're going to be around high character people, right? And if you're around high character people all the time, you could learn football, you could learn anything, you could learn accounting and calculus, right? But just, if somebody has great character, those are the people you want to surround yourself with. And I've taken that, and I've always tried to use that and tried to surround myself with quality people that, people that I would want my family to be around. Right. So that's the best advice I can give to anybody in any field, not just coaching, but that's it.
Sounds good. Okay, Coach Campanile, the floor is yours. If I've left anything out, I said, here it is. You're more than welcome to add.
Oh, no, I'm just excited to get back out here. I'm done yelling for today at the guys. I go home and actually get a regular dinner in tonight. So, this heat's got us waking up kind of early and getting stuff done. So I really appreciate you having me on. It's always great to see you at the game. So I'll look forward to seeing you. I'm looking forward to it.
Can't wait for I said the regular season home opener up. Hey, Coach Campanile, thank you so much again. A true honor and privilege interviewing you. Wishing you, the rest of the coaching staff and the team, all the best. Of course, on August 27th at Archbishop Hoban High School, I said the regular season opener, and then of course during the season as well.
All right, so now I'll look forward to seeing you over here. All right.